that I am sending out to you. You, the person who is the beginner, who are getting excited. You're seeing every day the stock market going up, never comes down, keeps going up because of the tremendous stimulus that the president is putting into this market. He wants to continue this market going up while the economy's going down. That's what it's doing. The economy's going straight down. You know, banks right now are the worst ever. They've gone down 40%. I mean, everything's going down. Companies aren't making money, but the stock market's still going up. And you got to be very, very careful when you get into a market like this. You got to know when to get out, and that's where we come in. So if you're a beginner and you want to start learning how to invest stocks properly and have the comfort level of knowing when to get out, when to buy, when to sell, and when to get out, contact us at philsgang.com. Join today, free for 10 days.
The stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money, money, money's coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money, 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 money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Grandy.
I do believe that inflation is going to prove to be temporary, a temporary challenge.
It's going to be temporary challenge. Well, wait a minute. You can't have both. If it's going to be temporary, it's not going to be a challenge. If you have a challenge, then you're admitting it's not going to be temporary. And we never had it temporary. This is insane. Now, it's interesting, and we're going to have some interesting stocks to talk about today that you should take a look at. What's interesting is I said last Friday, I'll play it for you. You're going to see, at the end of the day, people start to come in and start buying big tech again. Because this is what you're going to hear. You're going to hear, on all these fake business news networks, you're going to hear, oh, hey, big tech, it's on sale. You got to get back into big tech. And then Barney came out and said, yesterday,
buy the dip, stay the course.
And again, they're saying, today,
you really want to accumulate more shares. You really want to put more money to work. Any pullbacks at all.
It's just unbelievable. It's like, oh, everything's all over. Yeah, this was temporary. Inflation's over. Well, if people really knew what was going on, they'd be revolting. We are so close to the biggest crash ever. Let me explain. You got to go back. You got to go back to 2001 to understand where we're going and what they're not telling you. It's amazing. First of all, if you go back and take a look, after 9/11, what did Bush do? He panicked. Economy's in big trouble. So he started to push, home sales. He started in 2001. And then with all the prime credits owned homes, he panicked. So he started to lower rates because he wanted to sell to subprime people. Now, yields were I'm talking about the long-term yields. Now remember, the long-term yields is that treasury yield. So when the government asks you, would you please lend me some money? And you lend the money, take the money from your savings, and you shift it, and you say, okay, I'm going to lend the government money. They give you in return a treasury bill, proof that that's the debt they owe you now, and they promise to pay you back in the future. So the yields back then were at 6.1%. Now remember, the idea is the yields, if you can get those yields down, then they will lower the short-term rates. That's the one the Fed controls. That's the rate that affects your auto loan, It affects you're going to buy a motorcycle, or you're going to buy furniture on time, or you're going to anything really. I better tell you, I better go the other way. The long-term rate, the yield, that affects the mortgages. That affects the mortgages right there. Okay, that's it. That affects the mortgage rate. So everything else is the short-term rate, and that short-term rate it affects everything you borrow. So when Bush started, the 6.1% was too high because he wanted to get those rates down because he wanted people to be buying homes. So he wanted those yields to get down there. So he started this massive printing of money. The Fed would go in and print all this money and buy the debt from the government, that portion of debt that they owe you. Those treasuries that you purchase. So when you bought those, when you loaned the government money, that's debt. So they would go in and buy that debt from the government. Now, when they bought the debt from government, that would move the yield interest rate down, which means they could sell more and more homes. So they had to continue to print money to go in and keep buying that debt. Now, at the same time, you got to remember the government is nuts. They just spend. So here, while he's trying to get the yields down, to get the mortgage, 30-year fixed rate mortgages down, you got the government spending wildly. So as time went on, he kept printing the money. The government would keep buying those treasuries or that portion of debt from the government to keep moving the fixed rate mortgages down. Now, in 2001, this is when they started out with in 2001, this is when they started with the housing boom. So in 2001, the yields that dictated what your mortgage was going to be, the mortgage rate on a 30-year fix, was at 6.1%. Too high, right? Now, at the same time, the Fed fund rate, that's the short-term rate that you pay on your car and everything else, was at 6%. So the idea is they got to go in and buy those. They go in and buy from the government those treasuries that are owed to us, those bills, and they take them off their balance sheet, and that keeps dropping. And when that drops, the Fed rate keeps dropping, the short-term rate. By 2007 now, what was a yield at 6.1%, which affected the 30-year fixed rate mortgage, was at 4.7. And the Fed fund rate, which was 6%, was now at 5.2. Now they found a problem. Well, they're so busy selling these homes and getting these mortgage rates down that they're accumulating so much debt to government, spending going wild, the Fed fund rate is at 5.2%. That means that they were going to face a crash because they could not afford, the government, in 2007 to pay a 5.2% interest rate. 5.2% interest rate on debt. Just too much. Comes 2008. The crash starts. Why? Because the Fed fund rate's too high, 5.2%. So what they do, 2008, the yield now dropped from 4.7 down to 4.5. And then they moved the Fed fund rate down from 5.2 to 0.25% because the market crashed. Because why? Because the yield, because the 4.5%, the Fed fund rate of 5.2% was too much. You could not pay interest of 5.2% a year on its debt. It rolled the whole deal over. That's what crashed. Today we're sitting here with paying $375 billion, and we were paying 2.2%. 2.2%. And the Fed rate this morning, the long-term Fed rate, is 1.67. So here's the problem for us, for the government. Following the 2008 crash, the Fed printed like crazy. The result was historic low interest rates. And because they're so low, that businesses, households went crazy borrowing money. And now we're going to be facing the consequences. I'll explain what they are and then what stocks we should buy so we can make money.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Hi, I'm Phil Grain at philsgang.com. You probably heard me on the radio talking about investing in stocks and trading stocks. Well, this is a special message that I am sending out to you. You, the person who is the beginner, who are getting excited. You're seeing every day the stock market going up, never comes down. It keeps going up because of the tremendous stimulus that the president is putting into this market. He wants to continue this market going up while the economy's going down. That's what it's doing. The economy's going straight down. You know, banks right now are the worst ever. They've gone down 40%. I mean, everything's going down. Companies aren't making money, but the stock market's still going up. And you got to be very, very careful when you get into a market like this. You got to know when to get out, and that's where we come in. So if you're a beginner and you want to start learning how to invest stocks properly and have the comfort level of knowing when to get out, when to buy, when to sell, and when to get out, contact us at philsgang.com. Join today, free for 10 days.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from. All that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Why pay thousands of dollars for a weekend seminar when for only $39.95 a month, philsgang.com provides all the daily market investing information you need to make profits in the stock market. With over 40 years of investing experience, only Phil Grandy and the philsgang.com team provide daily live investing webinars, up-to-the-minute market updates, all the investing educational videos you can imagine. Don't hesitate to learn, invest, and make profits. Go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG, 877-600-4264. With the philsgang.com membership, we bring investors right to the floor, into the pits with Phil's daily live webinar classroom. Get inside market guidance on investing strategies. Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Don't have time to analyze and study stocks? At philsgang.com, we recognize that there are all types of investors, and we also recognize that your time is valuable. So we offer investing programs for all individuals. We offer investing programs for long-term and short-term positions. And philsgang.com provides quick and easy to understand investing videos that only take a few minutes to watch. With the philsgang.com investing programs, you will learn technical stock charting, how to execute your trades, and most importantly, you will gain the confidence to know when to get out of a stock and take profits. Sign up at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or give them a call, 877-600-GANG. Short on time but want to invest in the stock market? Let philsgang.com help you. For only $39.95 a month, you get complete access to all of Phil's powerful investing programs, videos, and resources.
That works for me. Log in, watch the videos, and make profits.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. philsgang.com.
Remember, when this market crashed in 2009, it should have never crashed because the chairperson of these two committees, their job was to protect consumers, protect our investments, and they're supposed to ensure that our investments are being monitored. Where were they in 2009 and 2008? They weren't anywhere because they don't do that. They take care of themselves. They protect themselves. They become richer. So you can't depend on these crooks in Congress. The stock market is a great place to be, but you just got to know this is a different market than your grandfather's market. So why don't you, for 30 days, join my gang, 877-600-GANG, try it for 30 days, $39.95. Follow me. I tell you when to buy, when to sell, when to add, and when to run like hell. All I ask you, start making money. Please remember St. Jude.
Don't wait. Join Phil's Gang today and make profits. Go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264. Welcome back. Are you ready to make profits in the stock market? Why not check out philsgang.com or give us a call, 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang. So here's the problem for the government and for us. Remember, the rate that you pay on your home is based on the 10-year Treasury yield. Also, the rate that is set, or what interest we have to pay on a national debt, is also set by the long-term Treasury yield. Now, the short-term Treasury yield, or the short-term rates, those affect everything else, your car and so forth. So to make sure that that Fed rate, what we got to pay on our national debt, right now we're paying 2.2%. We got to keep on printing money, and keep going and taking that money and buying those treasuries. Keep buying those treasuries. And those treasuries are sitting there on the balance sheet of the government because the government asked you and me to loan them money. And we loan them money. We have a treasury in our hand, and they have the debt on their balance sheet. So the government makes sure that the interest rates stay down, and the more that they buy those treasuries, print all this money to keep buying those treasuries, then the Federal Reserve lowers the short-term rate, which affects all the other stuff, your car, or you're going to add onto your house, or all that. So the problem is that it's a race. The government keeps on spending like crazy, and they spend more than they take in. By now, it's almost $2 trillion. They spend more than they take in revenue by $2 trillion, and they won't stop spending. So it's an ending race. So on one hand, they're printing and printing and printing, and they go in and buy all these treasuries off the government's balance sheet to try to get the yield down, so that we can afford to pay the interest payments. So we're at 2.2%, and they're trying to get that down. But the problem is they're out there still spending, and they keep spending. That means more debt. So it's this vicious cycle. So to say that and Powell's panicked right now. He's totally panicked. He knows that if those rates start heading up much beyond 2.2%, that the yield gets up to about 2.2%, say 2.5, 2.6, we head for a crash. And that's why it's so important to watch this Treasury yield. And remember, wherever that rate is, the Fed decides where they're going to set their rate. But right now, just focus on that Treasury yield. So the point is, they're saying how this inflation is temporary. No, because remember, where the inflation comes from is when they print all that money. The Federal Reserve prints that money, and when you got too much money out there, and when you have too much money supply, the value of our dollars, or the purchasing powers, sink like a flying monkey. And there's our problem. So when we go out to buy stuff, we're going to have to pay more for it. That's inflation. So for anyone to tell you this kind of nonsense here,
I do believe that inflation is going to prove to be temporary.
No, it's not. You can't, because what are we going to do? Stop spending? If the government would stop spending, it would be temporary. But they never stop spending, so it never can be temporary. But they won't stop spending. Congress will never stop spending. Look what they spent. $10 trillion in 100 days for stimulus. Add $2 trillion on from Trump before he left office. Now they're talking about another $8 trillion in stimulus. Are you kidding me? So now the Federal Reserve has to print all this money. And remember, as they keep on spending money crazy like this, they got to keep borrowing money from me, borrow money from you. And that kills the economy because the money then that we have in savings at a bank, we shift it to a treasury. Now there's not enough money in the bank to lend to entrepreneurs for startup businesses, which is the backbone of our nation, because the startup businesses is where we get most of our jobs, 70% of our jobs. So when you keep on hearing how the big tech stocks, go in and buy them. Look, they went up in the last 2 days. Go buy them. What are you, nuts? Remember, what kills the big tech stocks, your Microsoft and Apple and Netflix and all those big tech stocks, is the inflation. It kills those because it moves that yield keeps on going up. And right now the yield's remember, it was at 85 basis points going back in the bottom of February 2020. Now we're at 167 basis points. And if we get above 200 basis points, you're going to see the market crash. Powell knows that. So the idea is for anyone to tell you the big techs go back in and buy them. Sure, but you got to buy them short term, and you got to know when to get out of them. And 85% of you don't know because you don't know how to get out of a stock. You don't see the signs to get out of a stock. So yes, will the stocks go up like they've gone up in the last few days? Sure, because you got people coming in, have no idea what they're doing. They don't understand what I just said. They have no clue what I'm talking about. So they're going to come in and buy all the tech stocks because you're going to hear these guys like Varney and the rest of them keep telling you how great tech stocks are. This is crazy. Listen.
So that whole story where if rates rise, tech is in trouble, it doesn't actually play out that way.
He's bold-faced lying. This guy is on every day, the noon show on CNBC. That's a bold-faced lie. Are you kidding? What kills all right, if he's saying that rates rise.
So that whole story where if rates rise, tech is in trouble, it doesn't actually play out that way.
He's telling you that because he wants you to buy tech stocks because he's in them. And of course, rates and these tech stocks are going to keep rising because the dollar keeps going down, because the inflation of printing all this money pushes the dollar down, and those in the yields on the 10-year Treasury. Okay, a lot of people right now are selling their treasuries. They're dumping their treasuries. People in Europe are dumping their treasuries. People are getting into the stock market. They're dumping their treasuries. And that means the yields keep going up. So be careful when you're going to buy these big tech stocks. Know when to get in and get out. But long term, they're dead, dead, dead.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
When the market's open, we watch the market all day long. And when we see there's an opportunity for a stock, and it's a stock that we've been following, there's a lot of stocks we put on our watch list, and it has to hit a certain criteria. Then when it does, we alert you. You immediately get an alert that says, we bought this stock, X stock, at $30. So you get an alert immediately. What's better than that? I mean, nobody does that for you. But the most important thing, they'll say, okay, here's why we're getting out now, or here's why we're taking profits. I think it's going to to go down. Look, the most important thing is this. I want you to be prepared for when the market does tank or rally, that you're with us, Phil's Gang. 877-600-GANG. Join my gang right now, Phil's Gang. 877-600-GANG, and you'll be in position, and you'll sleep at night, and you don't have to worry.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Graney, philsgang.com. You probably heard me on the radio talking about investing in stocks and trading stocks. Well, this is a special message that I am sending out to you. You, the person who is the beginner, who are getting excited. You're seeing every day the stock market going up, never comes down. It keeps going up because of the tremendous stimulus that the president is putting into this market. He wants to continue this market going up while the economy's going down. That's what it's doing. The economy's going straight down. You know, banks right now are the worst ever. They've gone down 40%. I mean, everything's going down. Companies aren't making money, but the stock market's still going up. And you got to be very, very careful when you get into a market like this. You got to know when to get out, and that's where we come in. So if you're a beginner and you want to start learning how to invest stocks properly and have the comfort level of knowing when to get out, when to buy, when to sell, and when to get out, contact us at philsgang.com. Join today, free for 10 days.
philsgang.com is not the only way you can stay in touch with what we do throughout the day. With today's social media, you can stay up to date with Phil's Gang current events. You can find Phil's Gang on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and more. Phil's Gang Radio Show is broadcast live Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook, Periscope, and, of course, YouTube. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Go to philsgang.com and find our social media buttons at the top left-hand corner of the site. philsgang.com and Phil's Gang Social Media, keeping you connected.
With the philsgang.com membership, we bring investors right to the floor, into the pits with Phil's daily live webinar classroom. Get inside market guidance on investing strategies. Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Don't have time to analyze and study stocks? At philsgang.com, we recognize that there are all types of investors, and we also recognize that your time is valuable. So we offer investing programs for all individuals. We offer investing programs for long-term and short-term positions. And philsgang.com provides quick and easy to understand investing videos that only take a few minutes to watch. With the philsgang.com investing programs, you will learn technical stock charting, how to execute your trades, and most importantly, you will gain the confidence to know when to get out of a stock and take profits. Sign up at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or give them a call, 877-600-GANG.
I've been a Phil's Gang member since 2014. Over that time, I've generated over six-figure profits. Following Phil, his charting system has really been a huge impact on my career and my life. I would recommend Phil's Gang to the mom and pop out there. I would recommend it to parents teaching their children. I would recommend it to grandparents. If you really trust in their system, you will do well.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from. All that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Welcome back. Learn, invest, and make profits with Phil Grandy. Simply go to philsgang.com. Now, here's Phil.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang. So, again, I love the big tech stocks. We made a lot of money in the big tech stocks. But if you're going to get into the big tech stocks now, it's different. It's almost like a day trade. You got to be very careful. If you got into the tech stocks back in 2020, after the crash of February, so let's say you got in April of 2020, when the 10-year Treasury yield was at 85 basis points, that's the time you should have bought. And you could have been into a whole year and made a fortune in those. And that's what the smart money did, the people who knew what was going on. But we also knew that wasn't going to last long. Remember, right after that crash, they just dropped rates down to nothing. Now, remember, again, the inflation that they're talking about is temporary is a bunch of nonsense. Because where's the inflation come from? When the Federal Reserve creates money, when they print money. That's where inflation comes from. They always are going to be printing money, massive money. Because why? Because the government needs it. Because our Congress needs it, because they keep spending. They won't stop spending. So to say they jump into your big tech stocks now, you're out of your mind. Because remember who sets the price. The Federal Reserve on the 10-year Treasury yield, when they borrow money, remember, they have an auction. They have an auction. And depending on the demand, they auction off these securities called treasuries. And the highest bidder gets them. And then, of course, that's the debt. That's a debt on the balance sheet of the United States. We're at $28 trillion our debt right now. It's going to be at 30. So Congress keeps spending like crazy. The Federal Reserve comes in, prints money. He keeps printing money so to keep interest rates down. They keep buying the debt off. So you got the Congress increasing the debt every day. They've gone nuts, especially all the stimulus stuff. And then the Federal Reserve, remember, they're the ones that print the money, which kills the value of your purchasing power of your dollar. And and that creates inflation. And then they take those dollars and they go over and they buy from the government what's sitting on their balance sheet called these treasuries that identifies they owe us money. And then they buy those and they put them on their balance sheet to keep the rate down that they have to pay on the national debt, because they're afraid to go from 2.2% to 2.5% because it will just crash the market. There's no question about it. Go back and look at the other crashes we had. As soon as you go to 2.5, I mean, it's nuts. But what's really crazy, you think about it, the Federal Reserve is the one who prints the money, who causes the problem of inflation, who causes the problem you got to spend more money this week than you had to do, I mean, a lot more than you had to do last week for milk or whatever, or roast beef, right? I mean, just go to I went to the market the other day, roast beef, I couldn't believe the price. Because why? Because the Federal Reserve is printing money, because our Congress, first of all, our Congress, our representatives, they don't care. They could care less. They're going to spend like crazy because they want power. I don't care if it's Republican or Democrats. They're going to get programs out, free phones. Remember the Obama phones? And they don't care. Republicans, they don't care either. They're going to just spend and spend and spend. And when they spend, remember, our rates go up. Our rates go up. So they got to get those rates down. So it's this vicious cycle. So the same operation of Fed who prints the money that causes all the damage are the same people that hold an auction. To hold an auction to get people to come in and buy these treasuries. To try to keep, we need money. And where do we get the money from? From you and me by buying treasuries, and from China by buying treasuries. So the same gangsters who print the money set the auctions to sell the treasuries, and then they come back in and print more money and then go buy the treasuries to keep interest rates down. Isn't that insane? So for anyone to say that this is temporary and go and buy the big tech stocks, they're saying from now on, the Congress isn't going to spend any more money. That's simple. That's what they're saying. So next time you hear this, when you hear this kind of garbage right here, I'm telling you,
I do believe that inflation is going to prove to be temporary.
Okay, so what he's saying is, I believe Congress is going to stop spending as much as they spent. They're not going to spend as much. And therefore, I believe the Federal Reserve is not going to print as much money, okay, to go in and buy the debt that they got from you and me. I mean, think what they're saying. He's saying exactly that. He says, look, they're going to stop their spending, Congress. They're going to stop the amount of spending. And then the government is not going to ask for money. The government's going to be conservative. So they're not going to need to ask money from China or money from you and I. They don't need to borrow as much money. And therefore, our friends at the Federal Reserve, those gangsters, they're not going to have to print money. That's all we do is print money, debt, print money, buy their debt, print money, go sell treasuries, print money, go buy the treasuries. Sell treasuries, then buy them. Sell them and buy them. Isn't that stupid? We sell treasuries every day, then we go in and buy them to keep the rates down. And what does that do every time they sell a treasury and then we buy them to keep the rates down? Inflation, inflation, inflation. And what happens? Your dollar goes down. So just remember, here's the stocks that you don't want to be in. I have no problem buying. Matter of fact, if I look at it today, if you had my chart, that would help you. First of all, gold is going to be the stocks. Hey, take, for example, all the growth stocks. They're in bad shape, just like the big tech stocks. But those stocks have been beaten up so much, at some point, you're going to get what they call short covering. So everybody who shorted, for example, let's take SHOP at $1,487 a share. When it got down to $1,000 a share, $1,014 a share, it wouldn't go down any further. There was no more sellers. That meant there was no more sellers, so now the people who made money by selling it short from $1,494 down to, let's say, $1,000, they made a lot of money, but they got to buy that stock. They got to buy it back. They shorted it. They got to cover their short. That's what pushes the stock up. And right now, it went from, let's say, $1,000 up to $1,200 in the last week here. So it's moved up 20%. But here's the problem. Here's what you got to know. Because it's a growth stock, and because it's sold off so much, you got to get it at the right time. Example, the high was at, I'll just round it off, $1,500. The low was at $1,000. So when it gets halfway up between those two numbers, it's going to stop. It's going to stop. The stock will stop going up. It's almost there and it's almost stopping. Why? Because what pushed that stock up was the fact that everybody who sold it short from $1,500 down to $1,000 are now buying it back. That forces it up. That is, in pros like myself, we wait and sit for those days to happen. When everybody sold the stock short, the stock shop from $1,500 down to $1,000, they got to buy it. There's no choice. So you sit there, and when the color code goes from red to green, you sit there and you see it turning green, you buy it. But you also know when it gets halfway between 1,000 and 1,500, it's going to stop going up. Why? Because it went up because the shorts bought the stock. Now they're gone. Now to try to get from, let's say, 1,200 back up to 1,500 is tough because you got all sellers. People were saying, if I could just have my money back, I'm getting out. You got to know what you're doing, or you're going to get so hurt with these tech stocks and growth stocks.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. What if you could have an in-depth understanding of the stock market just like the pros? Well, thanks to Phil Grandy and philsgang.com, you can. philsgang.com offers comprehensive, up-to-date market information designed to help you understand and anticipate market behavior. With philsgang.com, you'll build your investing confidence even through down cycles and periods of uncertainty. Go to philsgang.com. philsgang.com today. 877-600-GANG. 877-600-4264.
Warning. Google, Apple, Microsoft, Netflix, Facebook, all these hot stocks are going to crash. They're going to drop as much as 60, 70%. Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. Exactly what happened in the dot-com days is going to repeat itself. Remember, 85% of people lose money in the stock market because they don't know when to get out. I fixed that with my color-coded technology chart. Tells you when to buy, when to sell, when to add, and when to run like hell. That's right. Make sure you check it out. It's free for 10 days. philsgang.com. Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. You probably heard me on the radio talking about investing in stocks and trading stocks. Well, this is a special message that I am sending out to you. You, the person who is the beginner, who are getting excited. You're seeing every day the stock market going up, never comes down, keeps going up because of the tremendous stimulus that the president is putting into this market. He wants to continue this market going up while the economy's going down. That's what it's doing. The economy's going straight down. You know, banks right now, the worst ever. They've gone down 40%. I mean, everything's going down. Companies aren't making money, but the stock market is still going up. And you got to be very, very careful when you get into a market like this. You got to know when to get out, and that's where we come in. So if you're a beginner and you want to start learning how to invest stocks properly and have the comfort level of knowing when to get out, when to buy, when to sell, and when to get out, contact us at philsgang.com. Join today, free for 10 days.
Thinking about investing in the stock market? Go to philsgang.com, where we have over 50 years experience in trading and investing in the stock market. Phil's Gang teaches you how to make profits in the market with stock chart analysis, up-to-the-minute alerts, and always keeping you informed with professional guidance in long and short-term positions. Go to philsgang.com or call one of our professional staff to answer your questions. 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Stop wondering about your financial future and start doing something about it.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here. And it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy. Is your business prepared to respond to any emergency in the workplace? Well, you better be. Let over 30 years of law enforcement experience go to work for you. Boyd Investigative Group is here for all your business security needs. I know. I use them. They're terrific. Call today for your free confidential consultation. 941-724-4535. That's 941-724-4535. Or visit them on the website, boydinvestigativegroup.com.
License number A1900020.
Welcome back. Learn, invest, and make profits with Phil Grandy. Simply go to philsgang.com. Now, here's Phil.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. For the best insight in both the stock market and the economy, turn to the Phil's Gang YouTube channel, where each weekday at 3 p.m. Eastern, you get to listen to my Phil's Gang radio show, where you get the best information both on stocks and the economy. And each Friday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern, you get the new segment of my popular Market Crash Unfolding, where I detail the weekly events that are leading us up to the next crash. Both Phil's Gang radio show and Market Crash Unfolding on Phil's Gang YouTube channel. And also, join my gang free for 10 days, where you get the color-coded chart, the Pro 2 color-coded chart, and you get the membership free for 10 days. And during that 10 days, remember what we do. Our portfolio stocks, our members have a portfolio. We have a portfolio, and all the members can follow that portfolio. And every day at 2 o'clock, we don't see anybody else do this. Every day at 2 o'clock, what do? We post the portfolio, and then we tell you what to do with each stock. And Steve, who's the head of our education department, will tell you something like this.
Intel, continue to hold your short position with a stop at 57.95.
And he goes in and tells you exactly what to do. So how can you go wrong? How can you go wrong? And every day we tell you exactly what to do with that stock. So we have a portfolio. And we want our members to follow that portfolio. And at 2 o'clock we post it and tell you exactly what to do. Buy, sell, add, run like hell, or short. And once you learn how to short, you got total control. Because when a stock goes up, you feel good. When a stock goes down, you even feel better. The problem with not knowing how to short a stock, when a stock goes up and it starts pulling back, your stomach starts turning over. Your hands start sweating. My members, when a stock starts pulling back after it's rallied, they take profits, position themselves, and they can't wait till it goes down because it goes down 10 times faster than it goes up. Look, I'm not telling you not to go buy your stocks, your favorite stocks, big tech. Give you an example. Take Amazon. Now, Amazon dropped about 12%. Okay, from about 3,500 down to around 3,100, just roughly. Now, in the last few days, the stock is going back up to around $3,200, say $1,300, and now she's pulled back a little bit to $3,200. While the stock was rising, the candlesticks were all red. Nobody has a chart like this unless you got it from us. There's nobody else that has this pattern. But here's what's interesting. As they're telling you to buy these tech stocks that they don't believe. Now, again, remember I said, anytime you hear this guy telling you that it's not true.
So that whole story where if rates rise, tech is in trouble, it doesn't actually...
Sure, it doesn't actually happen, right? Really? Well, we know that's not true. Because the only way it wouldn't happen if the government, Congress, stopped spending. Because the more they spend, the more they have to tell the Federal Reserve, we're out of money. Can you please auction some treasuries for us? You think the government's going to stop spending? Of course not. You think they're going to stop saying to the Federal Reserve, hey, we're broke? Remember, the government has a negative net worth. They have no money. So they have to borrow money all the time. So unless the government decides not to call the guys at the Fed, the Federal Reserve, say, hey, would you please hold an auction? We want to sell some treasuries today. That stop? Well, that'd be great, right? You think that's going to happen? Of course not. So he's going to have the auction, and then what happens? People buy the treasuries. Now the government's in more debt. And so because they're in more debt, they're fearful as the debt goes from 28 trillion to 30 trillion. The interest on that debt is determined by the 10-year treasury. If the yield keeps going up on the 10-year treasury, then what happens is we got a problem with our debt. We can't afford it. So they have to get the rates down. So now the same Fed who held an auction to sell treasuries so the government can have cash to pay their bills, now they print more money, go in and buy those same treasuries they just sold, which is debt. They go in and buy that debt, the treasuries, to make sure interest rates go down, so they don't go up too much. They don't go up beyond 2.5%, so the market doesn't crash. Isn't that crazy? So if you want to believe him, if you want to believe these fake Business News Network guys that you see on CNBC and Fox Business and Bloomberg's and all them, and they tell you this is just temporary, then just remember what I said. Think about it. Temporary? So they're saying the Congress is going to change their whole attitude, and they decided that spending is temporary. They're just going to do it temporary. They're not going to keep spending as much as they have been. You know that's not true. You know they're going to keep spending. As long as they keep spending, they're going to keep printing. As long as they keep printing money, every dollar in your wallet goes down. Remember, every time they print, there's inflation. Every time there's inflation, your dollar goes down in your wallet. And then the treasury yields go up, and we're in real deep trouble. So if you're going to buy these tech stocks, know when to get in and when to get out. And the only way you can do that safely, and I'll give you, you can try it for 10 days free. I'll give you the chart. And be a member for 10 days. The only way you can get in safely of these tech stocks when they, what we call snap back, which simply means everybody who sold it short will then have to cover their short position by buying it. That's where you make money. But then it's going to stop about halfway up and you want to be out or switch your position to short it. Just to get back into a tech stock, listen to these guys, you're out of your mind, and just stay in it. What are you going to do? Hope and pray like Larry Kudlow? Remember, that's what Larry Kudlow said. Did you hear how he said to buy and hold?
I buy it and I hold it and I just pray every night.
And can you imagine telling you that? Now, when we buy a stock, we don't pray. We buy a stock, we look at the chart, and I'm looking at Apple, okay? And Apple has a severe downtrend. More money is going out of the stock than in. But the stock is going up. Why? It's only because everybody who sold it short at $143 has now made a lot of money, and they have to buy the stock back to collect that money. So they shorted it at $143. Now they're going to buy it back at $122. That forces the stock up. That pushes, and as the stock is going up, you're more than welcome to buy it as long as you know when to get out. Because when you look at it, the stock's going up, but the flow of money is going out. So it's temporary. What is temporary is not what is temporary, okay, is the rally of the stock they're telling you to buy. That's what's temporary. Inflation is not temporary unless Congress stops spending. Unless the government decides, we're not going to have $28 trillion. We're not going to have $30 trillion. That's the only way it would be temporary. So all you need to know is when to get into stock and when to get out if you want to buy these tech stocks. Now, you're going to make a lot of money, okay, is you're going to eventually be buying, you're going to buy stocks like the casinos, okay, that have all been going down. Remember they told you how the casinos were going to take off and when everybody gets their shot? Remember the cruise lines were all going to take off? They will at some point. Look at the poor people who started to buy the cruise lines back on May 13th from $25 to $34. They went about halfway. Remember, the high was around 34, the low was around 25. Okay, they got it up to around $30 right now. And it stopped, didn't go any higher. Why? Because those were the shorts who covered. Now, you could have made money from $25 up to $30, but then you'd have to be out. Why? Because you look, my charts show you the trend of money is flowing out. The only reason the stock's going up, it's the only reason the stock's going up because the shorts covered their positions. But see, they won't tell you that. So the stocks that are going to be good deals are going to be the big growth stocks that got hit hard. And all those shorts they're going to have to cover. And that's like free money. And if you're watching Shop, okay, or Square, and catch those at the right time when the shorts cover, you're going to make plenty of money. Listen, join my gang, philsgang.com. Go to my site where it says Working Investors, free for 10 days, and you won't get hurt, believe me. See you on the charts. Get your color-coded chart.
You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grandy, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.